Life Management Science Labs would like to acknowledge that we live and produce this podcast on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land of our listeners and our international colleagues. We'd like to thank and pay our respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Well, the Wellbeing Science Insights Podcast produced by LMSL, the Life Management Science Labs. We are champions of life management science, providing structured insights informed by science and inspired by practice on key aspects of conscious living. Each week, we bring you scientific and practical insights on each element with the expert knowledge of professionals in the field. I'm your host, Blue Ngo, coming to your ears from Naarm, Melbourne, Australia. Let's learn together.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. And today I'm very excited because I have my colleague, my mate, so interesting to call you that, my host of two other shows that we have at LMSL. And I think this is my first time interviewing any of the hosts. For the Wellbeing podcast, for Doing Well. So this is fun. And it feels like like the teamwork at uni.
Yeah.
It feels like
a little class project.
Yeah, it feels like a class project. It's really fun. Thank you for being here today, Dina. And I have to say, it's been on my list to interview you guys. And I'm finally starting this mini project of getting all the hosts on the show because you're already cool people. Even though normally we feature expert guests, today we're going to have a non-expert guest because she has some interesting things to say. And I would love to also plug our other shows that we have at LMSL. For context, Dina's hosting two other shows, one for parenting and one for family. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. Now, we're going to talk about something that's very interesting to me lately because I have got back into exercising. Yay. I have finally signed up for the gym. I've been going to the gym. My legs hurt so bad today. And I know you have been going back to the gym as well. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to talk about the powerful relationship between exercise and well-being. So we were trying to come up with a way to share the message about exercising and well-being. And I think we're some good people to talk about it because we're experiencing it right now. Even though we don't have the expert knowledge, we can share our personal experience and hopefully you can relate to it and try it for yourself if you haven't already. And I know Dina has some great tips for us later, based on her personal experience because it works. So before we get started, let's get to know Dina.
Yay.
I got to know you a while ago. Remember when we started the company and we were trying to screen test, remember?
Yes, yeah.
I think I asked you these questions already.
I think so. I think a little bit. I think it's changed though between
it has
then and
changed.
now.
Yeah, I think I asked you. I don't know if we have those recorded, but it'll be interesting to compare after a while.
Oh yeah.
So I'm keen to hear your answer today. And the first thing we always ask, and you know this so well, sitting on that, you normally sit on this side.
I'm terrified to answer them.
You know exactly what I'm going to ask. So I'm just going to go straight into it. What is a book you would recommend or talk about today?
One of the books that I really, really love so far, and I've just started going through it and started reading into it, is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It is a TikTok thing that I've really just started loving and falling in love with, and I've seen so many people and so many of my friends really talk about it. So it's really made me want to go into it a little bit more and try it out. And since I've started, I'm halfway through the book and it's one of my favorite train reads. Whenever I'm catching the train for an hour, that's the book that I'm always bringing with me. Mm-hmm. So it's taking me a while to read it because I get so distracted on the train. But the book is probably one of the ones that I would love. I love to keep reading.
Yeah. I've heard so much about it. I was tempted to buy it at one point, but I just have so many other books on my list. I haven't really got to doing that. But now that you're saying that it's good, I'm going to have to read it.
Yeah.
So
no, I definitely recommend it.
Thanks for that. It'll be good. All right. How about a movie?
I had trouble with figuring this one out.
Yeah.
But I think I would have to go with the movie Split. It's kind of like a little talks about split personality disorder and the people who have multiple personalities in them, and it really comes out into a whole sort of drama, like kidnapping kind of murder kind of thing that they bring on, and it's really interesting for me to really see, because you don't hear people talk about split personality disorder as much, and it's so interesting that they made it into in a weird way, it's kind of like a superhero movie, but people with superpowers who don't necessarily aren't like the Avengers and kind of that kind of thing. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan film, so that's why it's like I love M. Night Shyamalan so much. It's probably one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
So that's why I fell in love with this movie at the minute that I saw it as well.
Yeah, I was just Googling it earlier because I have watched this movie, but I don't remember when. So I just Googled it. I think apparently it came out in 2016.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was like the first time I saw something that is so like engaging, and you just kind of like, you want to get to know more about why it's happening the way that it's happening. Because like it's like so much like, I mean, which genre is it? Thriller?
Oh, yeah, it's a thriller.
Yeah, okay, let's just say it's a thriller. But like to me, it's like, oh, this is psychology.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I enjoy getting to know more about this, even though it's kind of confronting and hard to think about the fact that there are so many people out there who might be going through the same thing, or we just don't know about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was eye opening for me because it was the first time that I ever came across anything like it. So yeah, love that.
And that
yeah,
was so good.
thanks for bringing it up. I forgot about it completely, so I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I should. Okay, this one's going to be a tough one for you because you host 2 podcasts.
Yes.
What's your favorite
Ooh.
podcast?
Out of every podcast that I listen to, and I listen to so many, I think the one that I would have to put, and I think I've shared this with you as well, it's the Emma Chamberlain's Anything Goes podcast.
Yeah, you sent it to me the other day.
It is so interesting to sort of get a person's perspective into different ways of how to be in society and how to sort of go through life. And like she talks about a lot of things about not having friends, and it's okay to be alone and do stuff yourself. And I found it so motivating to be able to be like, okay, I don't have to be around people all the time in order to have a good time. And it really built its own community in a way. And it's so interesting to keep listening to her. And I wait for her episodes literally every single time it comes out. I'm the first one to listen to it because it's so interesting.
Aw.
Yeah.
Sweet. I have a confession to make. I have no idea who Emma Chamberlain is. Like, honestly, like she's been everywhere. Like I see her name here and there.
Yeah.
I have no idea who she is. But that sounds good because, like she must be an interesting person so that's why you listen to her all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good recommendation for those who don't know about Emma Chamberlain. This is your chance to try listening to her podcast and get to know her better.
Yeah.
Next one, we talked about this earlier because it was like hard for you. But I would love to hear who is your current famous role model or your personal role model of all time.
So this person's probably turning up everywhere, back on social media and back on like the public eye again. And it's Selena Gomez. Like a lot of the stuff that she has gone through personally in her life hasn't really affected her build in her career. Like she's still kept going. She's still built the music industry, done a brand, have charities, but it hasn't really shown in a lot of her personal areas, the stuff that she's gone through personally. And I love that she's able to really be a part, like still be a part of the industry, but on her terms. And it's so different to a lot of other artists or celebrities who pretty much do everything for the public eye.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really love the way that she's done it, and then just seeing her grow up from when we were kids and when she was a kid, and it's so interesting to see how far she's come. So yeah, I really love what she's done with how she's built her life.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I don't know much about her. What I do know is like her being an advocate for mental health and, body image. And I think it's also interesting because recently I came across this article about her, with the whole kidney donation situation, whatever that was. And I was kind of like, oh, wow, okay, that's tough because, we don't really know what happens there. But yeah, I think it's never like a full story, right? So you know that they go through a lot of stuff. And I think that the nice thing is they bounce back. Yep. Which actually, now I think about it, we have a show for that. But that's a different story altogether. My mom really loves Selena Gomez. Anyways, that's off topic. But what is a course you've completed that you would love to share with us?
A course I've completed. It is so strange because I started my whole way into the world thinking that I would go into teaching and I would go into education. So the course that I picked for that was a diploma in education to sort of get into the education stream. That, however, since 2018 has very much changed, and I've streamed down all the way to media, but it was because of that course that really got me thinking about what I really wanted to do, and it made me realize what I didn't want to do. And I think for me, that was as important as figuring out as what I wanted to do was finding out that I didn't want to do something. So I'm glad that I went through that course because it really got me to say, okay, I've tried teaching. I didn't like it that much. Let's go try something else.
Yeah.
And I was able to have that avenue free. So that was really great for me.
Yeah, that's so good to hear. I'm glad you've tried it and you know that you probably don't like it as much as you thought you would initially.
Yeah.
As anything else in life, we have to try, right?
Exactly.
It's good. It's a good thing. I love that. Okay, cool. Now, I got to know more about you.
Yes.
And I hope the audience did as well. Now, let's talk serious stuff. Let's talk about well-being because, look, I don't know about the others, but you particularly, I just really love how you're the advocate for well-being on your social channels.
Yay.
Initially, when I was like, I want to have you on the podcast, I want you to talk about self-care, I initially was like, you know what, like Dina's so great to talk about, like, like taking yourself on dates, like taking your pace, just like do what you need to do for yourself to heal and like grow. And I think that's really nice. But another aspect that you talk about quite a bit on your channels, is exercise and going to the gym, breaking a sweat. I think that's really important to also highlight to others because I think from my perspective, recently I've noticed that a lot of my friends who are gym members, they just stop going to the gym because of the stress of work and life and whatnot. And I think maybe this is our way to send the message out. If we can convince one person to either go back to the gym or sign up to the gym or start working out in ways that work for them, that would be great. So really want to talk to you about it. We'll dig deeper into your personal experience and, what that means for you, how it's helped you. But first of all, let's start with well-being.
Yes.
Because you're the advocate of well-being. Let's talk about it for a second. How do you define well-being for yourself?
For me, I've always seen well-being as kind of like the balance of mental, your body, and spiritual. So balancing the three of those is really important to me. And it's not easy, especially when you have work, when you have uni, when you have all these other things that you have to do. And it's really hard to do things that you need to do. For me, I love, like you said, taking myself on dates and having that spiritual connection to myself, which is really important. But I also love reading. I love spending time actually reading something that I would enjoy or I can see myself enjoying and taking that little time to really build on that and really have something that I can just remember that I've done this myself and I've accomplished it. And then when it comes to body as well, it's really important for me to really listen to what my body needs. And sometimes, and I've learned this from a lot of other people that I've been around and also from a nutritionist that I've gone to see, that it's so important for me to really balance the things that I really like to eat. Like, I'm not going to go and say, okay, go and have a whole pizza because I feel like eating it. But if I feel like pizza, I'm going to go ahead and just eat it because I really enjoy it and I know that's what my body needs. So it's for me finding that balance between what I have to do and what I need to do.
Yeah, I love that. I think some of our expert guests have mentioned holistic well-being and the holistic view of well-being. So I guess what you just shared with us would be related to what they were talking about. So you're definitely on the right track, girl.
Yay.
Love that. And I think on the show we've heard about a lot of different misconceptions about well-being as well. Your definition would apply to yourself, and you might notice this in others around you, how they're applying it to their lives, and obviously you pick things up from them. But what do you think are some of the massive, biggest misconceptions that are out there at the moment about well-being?
I think I've seen a lot of people really define it as, okay, well-being, it means to be skinny, it means to be small, it means to lose weight. And I hate that misconception. It's probably one of the biggest things that I see a lot of my friends really go through as well. They're like, okay, I want to lose weight. I want to look after my well-being. But the two of them could not be as far apart as they possibly can. Like, it's good that you're looking after yourself, but also trying to be skinny as a definition for what your well-being is going to look like in a healthy way is not always the best way. Because something that I've really learned is that your body type is going to be completely different to everybody else's. And you're not going to be insanely small as someone else, or you're not going to be at the same weight as anybody else. Like, you're still going to be looking after yourself, but in a way that suits you in this way that suits your time and everything. So yeah, that was a misconception that I think I've always seen that being a misconception. And of like, especially when you're in your teenage, they say, oh, the smaller you are, the better you are. But like, the well-being, you're not going to be really healthy if you're really, really small either. So it's that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. I don't think anyone's talked about this exclusively on the show, but personally, I relate with that in the sense of hearing people talk about their body image, and it's actually related to today's topic, right? We're talking about the connection between exercise and well-being, and before we go into the topic, I agree with you by saying that being skinny doesn't equate being well.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, I personally think, and I've noticed a lot of people who look really fit but aren't well because, like other aspects in their life aren't going great. So that also doesn't mean, being fit also doesn't mean that your well-being is tip-top either.
Yep, exactly.
So it's like you said, right? It's holistic. So, like if you're saying that, okay, this person's well-being must be great because they're so fit. Well, think again.
Yeah.
I would say that personally, from what I've learned and observed. But now let's talk about exercise, because we have started to go into that direction where we mention the misconceptions, and also that misconception is related to exercise, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people actually just like work out like crazy, so they look super skinny. Or like work out way too much. Like most of their time, like most of their free time is spent exercising.
Every chance they get, they just
there. Yeah. So how would you define exercise for yourself? What would be counted for you as exercise?
For me, exercise really just means looking after yourself, and it's like another way of looking after yourself. I really don't like to see it done where it's like where I'm going every single day, and I used to be that, where I used to go every single day, either it's after classes or after work. You just see me, like that's the first place that I go. And for me, that was so much over exercise because I was not feeling it for a lot of those days. Or I just needed a break, but I never took one because I was like, okay, if I stop going one day, I'll stop going 2 days, then 3 days, then I'll just never go back again. So I was scared to stop. And that exercise for me was just trying to find that balance between when I should go and when I shouldn't go, and really putting effort into when I should go.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, we're talking about physical exercise, and I don't know about you, but it doesn't, to me, like it doesn't mean just going to the gym. If you take a break from the gym, but you go for a walk in nature,
Yep.
that counts.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't mean that you have to you don't have to sign up for the gym, first of all. I want to change the environment that I work out in, which is why I started going to the gym. But previously, I used to just like go for walks and runs outside, or, you know, I went skating with Gabriella.
Yes.
Our other host at LMSL.
She's a skate queen, that one.
She is. She's so good. She stopped me from falling so many times. And then, yeah, she picked me up twice as well. So, yeah, that was great. But the point is, exercise could be, I think, anything that keeps you active.
Yep.
And, you know, help you feel like you're taking care of your body. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to the gym, or, you know, you don't have to do cardio or HIIT exercises to say, yeah, I'm exercising, or I'm actually breaking a sweat physically. You don't have to break a sweat, actually. Sometimes I do yoga.
Oh, yeah.
I break no sweat.
No.
But I feel great.
But my body hurts
Yeah,
straight after it.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Like, there's that where it's just like you don't have to really do something exertion. You just do something. And
Totally.
I love doing that.
Totally. I love that. So you said you've got back into exercising recently
Yes.
after not doing it for a while.
Yes.
So how has that been, you know, for you, especially in terms of your physical health, your mental health, your whole holistic well-being? How has that impacted it?
Well, that break I felt was needed. I think I did it for a bit too long, to a point where I now have to start from the square one, right back up to where I was before. But yeah, I think sometimes, like when I was going constantly, it was really nice to be able to see it's like a community where you get to see everyone that usually goes there at the same time you do. Me taking that break, though, was probably one of the things that I needed in order to refresh why I did it. Going back, I had a refocus of, okay, I'm not going there to see these people, or I'm not going there to be skinny and small, and I don't want to feel discouraged from going. I'm going just to maintain my own health and maintain the things that I love. And it wasn't to be skinny for me. Like, I now see, and I have a whole Pinterest board now of like muscle mummy content, of like the back and everything. And then that's the aim now. It's like not to be skinny and small. It's just to be stronger. And
I love that.
It's changed so much.
Yeah, I love it. You know, actually, when you said that, I remember I have this friend who used to be super skinny. Like, she looked a bit sick to me, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she started to gain weight.
Yeah.
And then at one point she was kind of like, oh, I'm so fat now. And I was like, why are you saying that to yourself? You look better than before. You look alive. You look prettier.
Yeah.
You know, you look full, like, you know, with a full body and like, you know, curvy. It's like the curves are there now, girl.
Yeah.
Like, why are you complaining? And I feel like that's such a great thing about having the mindset of, you know, exercising to maintain your health, right? Because if at that point she decided that, you know what, I'm just going to start exercising so I lose weight and go back to where I was.
Yeah.
That's not,
No.
I don't think that's healthy.
No, it was not. And I've seen a lot of people at the gym that I go to. Like, I go to an all-women gym as well, so it's a little bit easier. But yeah, I've seen so many people just go ahead and just go do every little equipment, every machine, and they go 110%. And as good as that is, you just see them struggling so hard.
Yeah.
But because that's what they think, like they go really heavy in terms of like the weights, but they don't do it to what their body can keep going at it. So that's what I've really noticed when going to the gym. That's what I am aiming a little bit more to focus on, the exercises that suit what I like and follow sort of a little bit. I get pro tips now, so I go ahead and get the people that work there to sort of help me. Okay, what's a routine that I can do and I can maintain? So yeah, that has helped a lot, rather than me just going and staring at what Pinterest says or what TikTok says and following that. So
Yeah.
it's helped a lot in really knowing what is good for me to focus on. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I think the beautiful thing that I'm picking up from you is, you mentioned this before, this is how you're staying healthy in your 20s, and it's going to last, your whole life as well if you keep it up, right? The mindset. And I think the mindset is really important. So it's nice as a message to send to anyone who might be listening and in their 20s or know someone in their 20s that might need a little bit of help.
Yes.
This is your gentle reminder.
Yeah.
It's really okay to not look like a model.
No.
But you feel healthy and you feel great and you feel energetic and you can do your things.
Exactly.
And speaking of which, let's talk about productivity.
Yeah.
Because I know you like to do a lot of things.
I don't like to do, I have to do.
No, but I think you do like to, do different things like creating content.
Oh, yeah.
Work and, like do other stuff. And it takes a lot of energy. And, you have to be able to get into that zone and feel like you are up for it, or, even push yourself when you don't feel up for it to be able to keep creating content. I love watching your content. Girl,
Yay.
I really love watching your contents. And I feel like that's how you're staying productive with your life, right? You're working out, you're working, you're going to uni, you're creating content.
Yes.
I don't know what else you're doing, girl. You're doing a lot. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing a lot.
Yeah. So the question is, since you started exercising again, how have you felt about your level of productivity?
I feel like I'm having to actually maintain a schedule a little bit more. And me keeping to that schedule to make sure that I go on the days that I've set myself up to go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's definitely helped. And I think me knowing what my schedule looks like really helps as well. And I know it's not easy for a lot of people whose schedule changes on the daily, on the weekly, or even hourly for some people.
Yeah.
But being able to maintain that sort of, okay, there's a boundary where I'm going to be going to work, I'm going to be going to uni, but then I'm also going to prioritize going to the gym. And unfortunately, to a lot of my friends, I have cut down a lot of the social time in order to manage going to the gym. But yeah, I've still maintained that level of productivity by just saying that, okay, I'm going to be doing this and that's my focus for right now, instead of thinking what I'm going to be doing in 3 hours time. That's what I'm going to be doing right at this moment. And I've set myself up for it, whether it's me going for a walk on days where I'm just overloaded with classes or anything like that, or if it's going to actually set myself up to go to a gym. It's nice that I'm able to set the classes and know the classes that's going to be held at the gym, so I can schedule those days as well to make sure that I'm going into the big classes where it's actually going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
But other than that, I love trying to take my sister out on a bike ride as well. It's usually what we end up doing when the weather is nice.
Yeah.
So now that the weather's cooler, it's a little bit easier to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just tried to maintain a sort of schedule where it just allows me to be as productive as I can.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good point. When you mention you have been scheduling things in so that you can prioritize going to the gym or exercising or just doing these active things with your sister. I don't know about you, but I feel like ever since I started committing to working out, I prioritize myself more. And after working out, I have more energy. And because I have more energy, I can do more things.
Yeah.
And I feel more productive in general.
Yes. No, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I was kind of like, yeah, actually, you know what? Like, I don't socialize a lot anyway, but it is true that I'm like thinking about planning my week by first looking at how many gym sessions I want to do. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to just like commit to like 2-3 hangouts this week or something. Even though I love hanging out with my friends. And I feel like it's actually helping in the sense of like grounding myself too. Because the thing about being around people a lot is you don't have time to reflect on yourself, on your growth, on your journey. So I don't know about you, but when you mentioned the scheduling and like the, limiting the socializing time, I just thought of that. And I feel like it's important for your well-being as well, right? Because from your definition, it has to be holistic. And for it to be holistic, you got to do self-care. You got to know where you're at with your mental health as much as your physical health. And one add to the other, to be honest. Like when you work out and you break your sweat, you feel better. You have more mental clarity, and then you reflect better.
No, 100%.
And vice versa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just so much nicer to know, like you said, it's nice to know when you plan out your gym days as well. Mm-hmm. Like I don't go every day, like as much as I used to. Mm-hmm. I go probably 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And that's the max that I know that my body is also capable of doing.
Yeah.
Because during the week, I'm usually overloaded with classes, overloaded with work stuff. So then I don't try to force my body to be like, okay, there's another thing that you also have to do, but also push it a little bit more each time, saying that, okay, you can stay for another hour and do one more heavy workout and then we can go. And then we're done for the day.
Yeah. And I think it's also good because you're in uni at the moment. So, the timing would be more flexible. Yep. Like for me, because I work 9 to 5, like if I want to have a class in the morning at the gym, it has to be like in and out.
Yeah.
Like it's been like that. And then like working out on my own as well, it's just kind of like, okay, 1 hour, that's it. And then back to my desk. So it's good that you have that flexibility that you can manage.
Yes.
And stay productive with other things.
Yes. I really like going in the morning.
Same.
Morning is so much nicer because especially in the gym that I go to, it's a whole lot of moms dropping their kids off for childcare. Or dropping their kids from school. So it's a whole lot of moms that know each other.
Yeah.
Which means it's not people my age where I sort of get distracted. Some days I go in the evenings because I know that some of my friends are there at the same time. So I'll go and occasionally see them and have coffee afterwards because we have a cafe at the gym. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice social aspect to it as well. So on top of like working out, I'm also getting the socializing and catching up with people that I know. So it's like a nice balance. It's probably why gym is kind of like a second home.
Yeah. Oh, love that. That's good. I work out with my friends. So that's how we socialize basically every day. That's really good. And I'm glad to hear that. So overall, what we can see from here is working out, breaking a sweat in any way or form is great. And if you can combine it with socializing activity, even better. Work out with your friends.
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's hard to get you to the gym.
Yes.
So let's talk about some practice that we can share with our audience.
Yes.
What would be a practice that you do to motivate yourself to actually work out?
For me, I really like leaving just a spare set of like gym wear, active wear in the car. So like I leave shoes, tights, and like a top in the back of the car. And whenever I know that, okay, I don't know how I'm feeling, I don't know if I'm motivated, but that spare set is there. So if I'm wearing jeans or if I'm wearing like coming back from uni, I'm able to be like, okay, I've got the car, I got the gym, I've got the stuff that I need to get there. Mm-hmm. I don't have to go home and I'll feel lazy and then I have to go back and do everything all over again and try to get motivated. So whenever I kind of get a little bit motivation, I would just go. Sometimes on days where I'm not set to go and I just know that I feel like doing it. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to sort of set that up and just, okay, I have that there in case I am doing something and I'm not able to go at a certain day, have that spare set there.
Mm-hmm. What would you recommend to those that don't have a car?
Ooh, I think keep some in your bag. Like I have usually have a huge big duffel bag that has literally everything from a bottle to Band-Aids to like gym wear.
Yeah.
It has my laptop in it as well. And that's the bag that I have with me usually if I know I'm going to be out all day, that's the bag. Yeah. And I add gym wear into that. Mm-hmm. The bag that I have has like the shoe compartment at the bottom. Oh. So I add like sports shoes underneath it as well to make sure that I have no excuses whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But So I do recommend just trying to fit stuff in your bag if you can, or bring a spare bag and put your activewear in there.
Yeah. Great tip. Thanks. So obviously, like setting up a bag and putting it aside, definitely not hard. For some people, it might be a little more challenging because they don't have a car and they can just, put a spare bag in and then, take stuff out and use it.
Yeah.
For others, it can be just the act of getting started and not knowing what to pack. But what else do you think are some of the challenges that people might encounter when they try what you just recommended?
Some of the challenges that even for me, there are some days where I'm not having the car because I share it with other family members, so I don't always have it. A lot of the time, I'm just ending up either going for a walk or even going to... There's a little lake in my area where you have like a walking track around that. So I go there, or I bike with my sister.
Yeah.
Usually we try to every couple of weeks. So yeah, that's also like for her, she leads a very different lifestyle to me as well. So she's a little bit more sedentary lifestyle. She's not as active.
Yeah.
So that bike ride is kind of like her one thing to do constantly. So that's also another motivation that I have, where it's like taking someone that usually doesn't go or wouldn't go and just sort of being their motivation. Because somehow it ends up motivating myself as well to be like, okay, I have to show her how fun this is to keep her going. And yeah, I just love hanging out with her and forcing her to come outside with me to actually touch grass for a little bit.
Yeah. That's really cool. And I mean, we are talking about preparing for different scenarios, right? So I think what I took from your practice is not just, setting a spare bag in your car or preparing extra clothes for the gym in your bag, but also be flexible with the situation. Because like sometimes you plan to work out or you plan to go to the gym and whatnot, and then something happens. Let's say you want to go for a run today and it's hailing.
Yep.
It's basically dangerous to be out running. I think we can be flexible and just do a workout at home.
Yeah.
Just still stay active.
Yeah. I do yoga at home constantly.
Yeah.
I have like a yoga mat that's in my room and I lay that out. I have barely minimal space in my room, but that's enough space where I could do something. So yeah, I try to do it whenever I can. Even if it's like midnight and I can't sleep, that's something that I usually turn to because it's a little bit better than me just staying and watching Netflix as much as I love Netflix.
That's a good tip, actually. I've been struggling with sleep lately.
Yeah. Yoga will help.
Yeah, yoga helps. And I find reading to be soothing as well.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just hard because I'm like, oh, if I read, I might get sucked into it, and then actually sometimes that happens. Like I read and then I got way too excited and I just couldn't sleep anymore because I had to finish the book.
Exactly.
But yoga definitely does help, and then that's also a form of exercising, right?
Yeah.
So there you go, you have it all. If you don't feel like exercising during the day, or if you didn't have time at all during the day, and you find it hard to sleep, then yoga before bed, great idea.
Yeah. I do yoga on bed. Sometimes there's some little techniques where you can actually do.
Yeah. I saw those
kind of
videos.
Things. Yeah.
Yoga. Yeah, like yoga on a straight surface, just on the bed.
Yeah.
That works.
It works.
It works. Wow.
It's anything to keep active.
Yeah. Well, I love this conversation.
Yeah. I need it as well.
Yeah, I love it. It's really practical. And to anyone, again, in their 20s, or know people in their 20s who might be struggling with this, just like we're still, I don't know about others, but we're talking about this not as experts because we struggle with it ourselves. So
we have no clear answer, but we just have what we're doing.
Exactly. It works for us. It's been helping. And let's get active. I think that's the key message.
Yeah, that should be the title. Yeah. Let's get active.
Let's get active. Yeah, well, we already have another title, but this one can be the backup title.
Yeah.
Just a subtitle. This is what we mean. Well, thank you for sharing the insights, the practice. And now I would love to invite you to our open mic. You know exactly what this is about.
Yes.
And I'm sure you have something to share with our audience. So take it away.
I would love to just plug my 2 shows on the channel. So I am running 2 podcasts on family and parenting. Family is the Altogether podcast, and parenting is Raising Parents. There are 2 shows that are really interesting, and they have very different variety of guests that come onto the show to talk about so many things involving family, involving couples as well. Like, we had a guest on marriage preparation, which was pretty interesting in her ways of saying that it's like marriage is not the end of a story. It's not a happily ever after. It's pretty much the start of a whole other thing. And yeah, those 2 shows are something that's really near and dear to my heart, trying to figure out parenting. I don't have a child, but I love to come onto the show and talk about how I don't have one, but if I would, how would I go with it in today's society? And it's important to know how you deal with things in today's society, and whether it's well-being or whether it's parenting or how you were acting in your family. And I love to say that I throw my father under the bus a lot. Just sort of say, okay, so my dad did this when I was younger. Is this good or is this bad? So yeah, I'm sorry, Dad, but he knew he had it coming the minute I signed up for it. So yeah, I would love to plug those 2 shows. And yeah, definitely go and check it out. Go check out our other shows as well. We've got plenty of others on different areas like home improvement, household management, relationships as well. That's the one that's probably trending on my list so much. I've been listening to a lot of Aditi's ones as well. And yeah, so go and have a listen to all of them. Share them as well. Like, there's a lot of people that would probably love to hear them that you know. So yeah, definitely go check them out.
Oh, fab. Thank you. You did such a great job of plugging our shows. I love it. But yeah, they are great shows. I'm not saying that just because they are our shows, but because they are truly great. I've listened to some episodes and I'm like, wow, I did not know that you can talk about this topic without being a parent. It's kind of like the reminder that, you should know about this stuff before you even think about becoming a parent, because then you know exactly what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
So interesting. Same with family. But family is a bit easier because we all have families. It's just more so, from the perspective of experts, it's kind of like there are so many concepts that I didn't know before.
No, I know.
Like family estrangement. I was like, what's that?
No, I didn't know that was a thing either.
Like, oh, wow. Okay.
Like sibling, I understood. Sibling not talking to each other, but family entirely is a whole other thing.
Exactly. Oh, so interesting. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show to talk about well-being. I hope it's been fun for you as much as it's been fun for me. And I hope that we send our audience some interesting messages or something to empower them to start their journey to take care of themselves better. Yes. Obviously, exercising is just one aspect of it, as we said, right? So, yeah. And I feel like you would have interesting things to say about a lot more aspects.
Oh, I would love to come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so great. And finally, I think for today, it'll be actually great to get our audience to interact with you, in the comment section, wherever they're listening, so that they can get some more tips from our buddy, Dina. Yeah, that'll be great. And thank you for your time. Let's wrap it up here, but we'll definitely come and visit you on your show, Parenting and Family. And my audience, you can catch me there. I'm coming.
Yeah, she's joining me soon.
Yeah, joining soon.
You've been listening to Doing Well, the Wellbeing Science Insights Podcast, produced by the Wellbeing Science Labs, a division of LMSL, the Life Management Science Labs. More episodes are available from 10 life management perspectives and can be found by searching LMSL on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and other podcasting apps available on your devices. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, share, and subscribe to our channel so that other people can find it and we can continue to provide quality content. More of our work can be found on our website at we.lmsl.net, where you can join our movement. I'm Lu Ngo. Thanks for tuning in.